Hello and welcome to season 2. Season 2 of Agents of Travel. I'm Garrett Palm.
And I'm Rachel Van Ness.
It's been a while. We took a long break, and we took an even longer break since we recorded this episode that you're hearing to now, this intro, and then releasing it.
But honestly, we're holding space for ourselves.
Yeah.
And, the tumultuous journey and trip of life.
Yes. That tumultuous trip of life is always going to get you.
And not always conducive to a regulated podcast schedule.
Yes. So. Yeah. So if you're expecting a regular podcast release from us, sorry. Sorry, 35 people who listen. Not going to happen. Well, let's get to our first guest of this season.
Yes, our first guest is
Karen Chee. We love Karen Chee. We worked with her at the Edinburgh Fringe. Wow, long time ago.
A long time ago when she was just a comedy tot, but now
Yes.
she's a full-grown badass comedy woman.
Yeah, she's currently she has a podcast called Make Sense with Chanel and Karen. You can find that on all podcasting spaces.
She wrote on Seth Meyers.
Yeah, she's working on a Mike Shore thing right now.
I think she just wrapped up.
But
I can't wait to see it.
Okay, I can't wait to see it too.
Yeah.
She's just a delight. She's one of the most, cheery, wonderful, joyful.
Yeah, re-listening to this podcast, I was like, oh man, I wish I could have like a little Karen on my shoulder all the time just to be like helping me experience the daily joys of life. She's truly like exceptional in that way and somebody I look up to for her beautiful worldview.
Yes, she has got a wonderful worldview. Okay, well, enough from us. Let's kick it on over to Karen. So Karen, it's been so long since we've done this.
Thank you for being here for this.
Yes,
listen,
thank you.
You're so welcome. This is a huge honor for you both.
It is.
and even bigger honor for me. Yeah.
Very, very sly addendum.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Karen, I really want to come clean with you real quick.
Oh, okay.
So you may know us as Rachel and Garrett. We've known we've known you for a while now, but we are secret agents for the National Travel and Tourism Office. We have secret agent names.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Yeah. So we've been playing you this whole time. Rachel Van Ness is my alias, but my actual name is Agent Panakukin.
Just Dutch for pancake.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Garrett Palm is, what I've been telling people is my name in public society, but I'm Agent Sticky Toffee Pudding.
Oh, and Garrett, I've always thought your name was really boring. And sounded made up. So this actually, I'm so relieved that it's not your real name.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh,
yeah,
it's actually Agent Sticky Toffee Pudding.
That's what his mother named him.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it just so turned out it became my favorite dessert of all time.
Wow, that's a huge coincidence.
Yeah, right?
That's great.
So we're sorry for lying to you, but it was all because we've been tasked with this special mission of booking your perfect dream trip.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we have you here because we want to very lightly and kindly interrogate you about all of your travel memories and preferences so we can plan the perfect vacation for you.
Yeah, we're doing this as practice to kind of like move up in the National Travel and Tourism Office.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm just practice? I'm not the real deal?
Eventually.
We'll remember you when we're promoted, obviously.
Yeah, when we're promoted and we have the funding to send people on these trips.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, we won't forget you.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, please don't forget me. I love you guys.
We love you too.
Yes. All right.
Are you ready? Are you ready to answer some questions?
Yeah, I'm so ready to be lightly and kindly interrogated.
All right. Well, our first question is, what is your travel style? So do you like to wing it and see where the wind takes you? Or are you a meticulous planner, or are you somewhere in between?
Oh, I think I end up landing somewhere in between. I like doing a lot of research before. You know how everybody says there are like 3 trips you take? It's the one you plan or think about, the one you actually take, and then the one that you remember. I love really capitalizing on the first one. So yeah, but I feel like I should say I do a lot of research and planning, but I'm always game to not go along with whatever I have planned. I just feel like I should have that down so that when I get there, I don't ever feel like, oh no, I don't know what to do now that I'm here. I think that would feel like a waste. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you research it? Like, are you on Reddit or are you on Lonely Planet? Like, the look of fear in your eyes at the
Do
mention
people go
of
to
Reddit.
Reddit to
Sometimes,
plan?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can be like, where are great restaurants in Tokyo or whatever, and there are threads about it.
Wow. Okay, that's actually really good to know. I just assumed Reddit was like where incels hang out and have fun.
Yeah,
Well,
but
they
it's
also have travel opinions.
Yeah, so if you want to see the incel side of Tokyo or
Yes.
anywhere you're going,
yeah, which is what I'm looking for in this world.
yes.
Yeah, as an incel, I'm looking for my community. No, I do a lot of, I think I start with the general touristy things of like, oh, the big tour, like in Paris, gotta see Eiffel Tower, you know, that sort of thing.
Yep.
And then if I have friends who live there or have been there before, I'll ask them what they liked and what they've seen, and kind of combine Google with friendship experience.
Beautiful.
Are you somebody that likes the sights, or do you like the vibe of a city, or both, or like when you go someplace, are you like, oh, I've always wanted to see this thing, or like, oh, I want to hang out in cafes here or whatever?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think both.
Yeah,
I think vibes are fun because it feels like each city has its own sort of tempo, and sort of fun getting to figure out what that rhythm is. But I also really like the sights, and I really like museums. I really like things that make me feel very, very small. So anything that feels like it's really old or very big or took a lot of effort, I love that. Yeah.
So is your preference, like, when you're thinking about how you travel, like, would you rather plan a trip for a group of friends or go on a trip that a friend planned for you?
Okay, I mean, it would depend on who the friend is.
Yeah, good
And
point.
if they are somebody, Rachel, if you had planned a trip, actually both of you, if you planned a trip, I would be like, I would go in, no questions asked. I wouldn't even need to know where we're going. I'd be like, oh, this is going to be very thoughtfully planned out. And I feel like you would also build in like, this is when Karen needs alone time. You know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, that's so nice. But if it's someone who I think is going to be quite slapdash about it, I'd be like, I'm not going to drop thousands of dollars to be placed in your hands. Yeah.
That's
Do
fair.
you like to have alone time when you travel, like a big chunk? Do you like to like go solo for a bit, for like a day?
Yeah, I think especially, I mean, I guess depending on who it is, but usually knowing that about myself, I think I've really only gone on trips with people who I don't need that very much with, or who I know will also need that, and then we can both chill out. I recently went on a trip with my friend Kira, and this is our first, like, just the two of us going abroad together, which was really exciting. And I told her in advance, I was like, don't feel bad if I need to be alone. And she was like, oh, great, same. And so we, like, took naps at the same time. It was very cute.
That's perfect. No, naps are so important in traveling, too. Like,
Yeah.
my aunt, who's done a lot of traveling, whenever we visit her, she builds out like nap time in the afternoon. So she's like, you do a morning activity, then you relax and nap for like 2 hours, and then you go out at night. And ever since I've like traveled with her, I'm like, that's just how you do it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, especially with jet lag. And it's usually, I feel like people don't have, I've never had enough time where I can build in like, 4 days in the hotel doing nothing but getting over jet lag. You know, that feels like such a waste.
Yeah.
And so you gotta nap.
We need the naps.
Karen.
Oh, yeah, that's
Do
me.
you? Yes. I mean, eventually, maybe you'll get a secret agent name if you want to join us, join this industry. But it's up to you. It's up to you.
Okay.
I'm not going to try to hard sell you. Do you enjoy the act of traveling? Like the actual, like getting on a plane, getting on a train, hanging out, waiting at the airport or train station?
I do. I really love it. I like it a lot. I think it's so fun. I always try and make small talk with the people doing TSA stuff, and they never really ever want to talk to me. But yeah, I like it a lot. You know what I really love is when you're in line for the TSA and somebody's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, my plane is about to depart, do you mind if I cut in front? And they have to do that with every single person in the line, and everyone's like, yeah, go ahead. I'm just like, that is so kind. Nobody wants to be here, and we're all just like, yeah, this person needs this thing a little bit more than we do, and we're letting them go. I think that's so sweet.
It's like,
I've never seen anybody say no to that.
Yeah, that would be wild. I feel like I would get angry on their behalf if somebody was like, no.
It's like one of the few times where like Americans collectively like decide to sacrifice a little bit to help somebody else. Like it feels like a moment where you're like, maybe we can come together as a country.
That's true. That's like that on a larger scale as universal health care.
Just no one's explained it this way before, but once we do, everything's gonna change.
Oh, that's the future.
Yeah. Well, when you're on like, you know, trains, planes, boats, are you like digging into activities, or are you trying to make small talk with people next to you? Are you observing? Like, what does that look like for you?
Oh, when I'm on a plane, I don't make small talk just because I feel like when you're on a plane, you're trapped. And I like talking to people, but sometimes I then realize this is a person I don't want to be talking to. Or they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this girl is trying to like discuss some stupid topic with me. And so I don't want to bother anybody. But let's see. Well, when I'm going on plane rides to Korea, because it's so long, I love watching like 3 or 4 movies in one go. That's the best. And then watching 3 or 4 movies and being like, I'm also going to sleep for 5 hours. And then you're like, finally, I've arrived. But yeah, I like doing little activities. What about you?
I also love to watch a ton of movies. That's where I always catch up on movies. That's where I first watched the Harry Potter movies.
What? On a plane?
On a flight to Australia.
Wow.
Yeah. I just had a flight where, because I do like to talk to people. I like that on the plane. I'm like, I'll meet people that I, normally would never meet. So but on a flight recently, I started talking, the guy next to me started talking to me, and it was like somebody I never would really talk to. He's like a farmer from Wichita, and I was like, this guy's cool, fine. He's great. He's cool to talk to. But it was like, after it was like a two and a half hour flight, I was kind of like, I am starting to feel a little trapped.
Yeah, that's true.
So, it's hard.
I also like to watch movies on flights because, and I realized like somehow stepping into an airplane automatically like lowers my standards for movies.
Yes.
Like, so I'm like all of a sudden able to watch movies that normally I would never pick, but I'll be like, I'll see Jumanji, or like, on the last flight I was on, I watched Ginny and Georgia, the like Netflix show.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's very soapy. It's like a teen drama, and the mom's like a murderer or whatever. It's like, it's very like, it's so soapy. And I watched it on the plane. I was like, this is the best, incredible show. And then I tried watching it like 2 days ago, and I was like, what was I thinking? This is unwatchable. Like, what happened?
That's such a real phenomenon. I feel like that happens for books and movies. Because there are some like really horrible books where as I'm reading them, I'm like, this was someone's first draft and this feels like fan fiction. But on the plane, I'm like, oh, gripping read. Like, this is fantastic. And
has anybody heard of this book?
Yeah. Oh, man. And wait. Oh, I was just going to say in response to your Ginny and Georgia thing, when I was in middle school, I think that was when Mamma Mia had come out, and I watched Mamma Mia 3 times on one plane ride. I was just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Did you ever watch it again after that?
Yeah. That one I think holds up no matter where you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one you just happened to watch. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, so flawless transition into our next question.
Amazing.
Thank you. What was your favorite family trip growing up, and what made it iconic?
Oh man, what was my favorite family trip? We went to Korea so often. My dad works for an airline company that's based in Korea, and so we sort of flew back and forth really regularly. And from there, we went on a smaller trip within the country to this place called like Jeju Island, and that one feels iconic to me because that was maybe one of the only times everyone in our extended family all scheduled together to be like, we're all gonna do this big family trip together. So there are lots of photos of like all our cousins and aunts and uncles and everybody there. Now when I think about it, I'm like, that's so impossible to plan. Because half the cousins are on like Korean school schedules and the other half are on American school schedules, and adults have jobs and stuff, and so I think it was really a once in a lifetime kind of thing. Yeah.
How long were you guys there for?
Gosh, I want to say maybe a little under a week. I want to say like maybe 5-6 days.
That's still incredible though.
Yeah, because I'm realizing everyone flew into Seoul, like to the main island part, was probably there for a few days, and then went to this island together. And so, yeah, everyone would have had to take off like about at least a 10-day chunk of time, excuse me, for this to happen. And I was maybe 6 or 7. Yeah, but I still think very fondly of that trip, although I'm sure a lot of it is sort of, like artificial memories that I've pieced together from looking at photographs.
Yeah.
Who cares?
But they're still nice to have.
Yeah.
Up in that brain.
It's still up in that brain.
Yeah.
Did you guys do like a lot of planned activities on that trip, or was it like, let's rent out a place and I'll just like hang out and cook?
Oh, I think it was a mix. So we went horseback riding. We stayed at a place near the beach. The island is kind of the equivalent of like Hawaii for Korea. And so, yeah, we were on the beach a lot. We went like on a little hike and stuff. So I think it was a mix of things. But my cousin and I were both 6 or 7. So I'm sure there were activities planned to accommodate like little kids,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also remember we swam in like a pond somewhere that had a little waterfall and stuff, and I had this really cool Pikachu swimsuit. That's like a huge thing in my memory. Yeah.
How big is this island? So this is like the Hawaii of Korea?
Yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. It's like
cool.
It's an hour-long flight from the capital though, so not as far. Obviously everything is much smaller.
Yes.
I don't know how big it is. It's big enough that a lot of people live there. We go once every like 2 or 3 years. Maybe it's a really popular place to go to on vacation. Yeah, I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All of these trips, growing up, going back to South Korea, do you think that's like kind of informed your travel style, or what what you look for in traveling, or like just made it easier for you to travel as an adult?
Oh, yeah, I think that's true. I think because the flight time from San Francisco to Korea is so long, I got really used to that. Yeah. So anything that's like under 12 hours, I'm like, what a breeze. This is such an easy flight. And anytime something's a little over, I'm like, oh, this is basically what I do. Just add, maybe a couple hours or so. But I really like being in an airplane because it feels like fake time. It feels like you're suspended in time and you can do whatever you want. You don't have to be productive. You don't have to do anything. Yeah, I like that so much.
Yeah, I get so giddy and will fill my backpack up with like so many activities. Like, like I'm like, I need my computer in case I want to write, my book in case I want to read, my iPad in case I want to draw, and I will just like watch movies the whole time and sleep. It's like, but every time the potential of it is like so exciting.
Yeah.
I always have a book of crosswords that I never touch.
Oh, that's a really good one.
On a flight.
Emergency crosswords.
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder if, Rachel, you have the like pre-trip but for the plane ride there. You know what I mean? You're like, the plane ride in your mind.
Separate packing.
Yeah.
I guess it is because like we live in such a like productivity oriented culture that I think like for me, it's like the most exciting times, like mentally, are like if I'm sick or on a plane, because those are the only times I feel like it's justifiable to like not be working or like even think I could work. And so it's like, I know that's like a little sad and reflective of like Western culture, but it is like what does make it so genuinely like so full of potential. I should approach my life this way.
Yeah.
Wait,
I had
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, Rachel, I fully know what you mean, and then recently started doing this thing, which I highly recommend. Where anytime I start to feel really overwhelmed and felt like I had to do a lot of work, I literally would just take the full day off, and then the next day I would wake up being like, actually, my life is totally fine. And weirdly, I think that kind of tricked my brain into being calmer, but also more productive. Not that I was doing it to be more productive, but yeah, I would just do 24 hours of like intentional, let's have fun. And then the next day I'd be like, life is the same.
Is that like, even with like deadlines approaching and stuff, you'll do that?
I think if it's something, no, if it's a deadline, I think I gotta meet it if it's for somebody else. But if it's for me, then I'm just like, oh, I would rather push this and reset my brain than be super stressed about it for a few days.
I love that. I might try that. I will try that.
Text me when you do.
I'll get back to you.
Karen, can you tell us a story about your best trip you've ever had?
The best?
Or if you have several best trips, you can't decide, like, or a really good trip that you love.
Oh, man. Okay, I have a few. I'm gonna...
Okay.
Okay, I think a couple of them I can discuss as answers to other questions. So I'll do this one, which is
strategic.
Yeah. Thank you. I just didn't want to say the same one repeatedly.
Sure. Yeah.
I in the fall of 2019, I took my mom and aunt on a trip, and this was like maybe 9 months into me having my first like real job, and I was like, I want to take them on a trip. And, like, I planned out the whole thing. I, like, got hotels and, like, flights and trains and stuff. And we went to Belgium and the Netherlands and Luxembourg. And I was just, like, I sort of thought of this and dreamt of this for a very long time, where I wanted to sort of treat them to a nice little vacation. And the three of us are also really close. And we always say my aunt is, like, my second mom and stuff. And so, yeah, it was the best. We had such a good time, and we never got into an argument or fought, to the point where every single day we would be like, today is the day that we are going to fight. Yes. And then we would do a bit being like, yeah, okay, maybe not now, maybe later today we'll have our fight. And then we had our whole trip never fighting.
Oh my gosh, was it so cool to feel like such a high rolling baller? Like, it feels like a transition into like adulthood, in a sense of like, let me take care of you guys and like enjoy treating you,
It really, really did. I felt so much joy from it, but I also don't really spend much money in my actual day-to-day life. And so I think, and I'm not married, I don't have kids, nobody is depending on me for my income. And so I was like, oh, this is such a great way to spend money now that I have some to use. So it was really fun, and I'm hoping to take them on another trip this year. So we'll see how it goes. Yay!
Oh, where are you going to take them?
Well, because I asked them, and they were like, my aunt is now 66, and so she was like, I want to start traveling to the places that are furthest away, so because it'll be harder, to go there in the future. And so I think we're thinking of going to Greece.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm so excited. She'll be traveling from Korea, so I think Korea to Greece or Turkey, they're like very, very long flights. But I'm so stoked. Yeah, it'll be such a blast. Have you been
so
before?
Fun.
I was in Greece in 2000, and I've been in Turkey. I was there in 2012, and we actually might go in 2024 for my family reunion, because we're Greek Turkish.
Wait, what? I didn't know this. Okay, I'll reach out to you for advice on where to go when I travel.
I know Turkey better.
Okay,
because that was more recent.
Oh,
Greece was 23 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
He's so old and wise.
They're great.
He is.
Know.
Yeah.
I know. I was a baby. But they're really cool. They're very fun.
I mean, that's where Mamma Mia was, filmed and took place. So, I mean, I guess now that I think about it, I don't need advice from you. I've seen the movie 3 times.
Just follow that. Just follow the Mamma Mia.
Okay, so Karen, this is the most important question, which is, what is the tastiest thing you've eaten abroad?
Oh, I was thinking about this earlier because I couldn't think of an answer. Oh my gosh.
Top 3?
Okay, well, I feel like any pasta I had in Italy was just, I was like, this is the best pasta I've ever had. I also feel this way about all the breads in France. Yeah, and then I mean, I'm excluding Korea from this because I lived there for a bit, so it feels like I wasn't traveling.
Yeah.
But I guess if I was including Korea, then yeah, I guess everything there, which feels like I'm cheating again. But yeah. I probably those. I feel like, I would love to go to Mexico and have Mexican food there because in my mind, for me, Korean, Italian, Mexican are the top 3 that I eat, and then maybe also Thai. Yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
It did.
Actually.
It's interesting too because I was reading recently that like in America we mass produce so much food that like vegetables like literally don't have as much nutrients, and so they don't taste the same as they did even like 100 years ago.
Oh wow.
But when you go to other countries, like we just got back from Japan, and all of the like fruits and vegetables were just like so much more flavorful and delicious. Because the farming is like more localized there. So I wonder also if that's why like food in like Italy and Korea and Mexico is like so top notch because like none of the produce has been fucked with,
Yeah, that's super possible. I wonder how you would check that for each country, but I believe it immediately. That sounded so smart.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Do you prioritize food when you travel? Do you consider yourself a food-based traveler?
Oh gosh, I think I should be more. I feel like I got into food more recently, like in the last few years. I've been like, oh, this is a source of potential pleasure and joy, and not just something I have to do multiple times a day. So yeah, once that happened, I was like, okay, gotta do this. When I went to Ireland with my friend Kira last year, Ireland, the hub of all the great food in the world.
Yes. Well, I love,
Potato capital. Potato's one of the best foods of all time.
It is one of the best foods of all time. That is true. I think it's just that when you think of, pick your favorite cuisines, I don't know if most people would go Irish as their top, which is not at all a knock on Ireland.
No. Yeah.
But that was maybe the first time where we were both very intentional about like, these are the places we want to go. These are the things we would order there. We asked friends who had gone, being like, this is where you want to do this. This is a pub that has like a great environment and, things like that. So
what do you think caused that shift in you and like seeing food in this new way?
I think this sounds so sad. I think I used to live my life in a very sort of utilitarian way. And so the way that I dressed or ate, I was sort of like, I don't really care about either of these things. And then at some point, I was just like, oh man, I could have a really good breakfast and a great lunch and a great dinner, and I would just have such a good day.
Yeah.
Once I realized that, I've been trying to prioritize that more, but it's still hard. It takes so much planning and effort. Are you both foodies?
Yeah.
We big foodies.
We love it.
Yeah.
But Japan was like, one of the main things ahead of time was just picking out all the food spots to go to.
Yeah.
And we're vegetarians, so it was a little tougher, but it's still totally doable.
Do you still have like seafood and fish or no?
No.
You went to Japan and you didn't have any
I know. Well, last time I went to Japan, I was a pescatarian, so I did eat seafood and fish. And I had some there, and it was pretty amazing.
That's great.
I don't eat fish anymore.
Yeah. No, I mean, the fish probably appreciate it, so that's good.
Yeah. I know.
They thanked us. I was going to say, too, with your, with, like, you commenting about being utilitarian about your outfits as well. I think that's, like, such an interesting thing where I went through that as well, where I was like, it's silly to care about what you look like. And then you're like, oh, actually caring about what you look like and taking care of yourself is like a form of care. So now, like, picking out clothes that you're, like, actually excited to wear.
Yeah.
It's, like, it's so simple, but, like, so, like, it blows your mind at the same time, you know?
No, that's true. I feel like any part of my day where I could change it from, I could sort of elevate it from being utilitarian to being something like, oh, what a joyful, intentional little thing I can do. That just sort of really brightens your day. Although I think for clothing, this is kind of embarrassing. I think I went from being like utilitarian to, so the reason I started dressing better was because I realized, okay, this is gonna sound very scary, but I really like order. Like, I just love order. And anytime I see someone who is very intentionally dressed, it just feels like they took their little patch of the world and, like, made it very orderly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very, like,
I see that.
authoritarian take on fashion. But that's why I started dressing better. It's like, I just want to look put together and, like, intentional. And not a little mess. Yeah.
Does it do something for your brain where your brain is like, yes, we like this order?
Yes. Yeah. And it's in that voice. That's my inner voice.
Yeah. Real quick, going back to Ireland, what was, like, your favorite restaurant or food that you had while you were there that you, like, was there anything that you planned for and then, like, was, like, better than you expected, or anything you didn't plan for and that blew you away?
That's such a great question. This is going to sound like a stock answer. It's very cliche. But my friend Kira and I were both just like, I think the Guinness is so much better here than it is back in the U.S.
That's what I hear.
I think it's true. We had so much Guinness, and I always just thought I didn't like beer. And then I was like, no, honestly, this is great. I love this stuff. The foam is so soft.
I know. I do want to try it. I've never been to Ireland. That, and I hear, the Guinness there is incredible.
Yeah, well, if you ever want to go, you can hit me up.
Okay, I'd love some suggestions.
We'll get your suggestions so we can stay off Reddit.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. We'll get the incel Guinness.
Yeah.
Karen, on any of your trips, has there been a tourist attraction that you went to that lived up to the hype? That maybe even surpassed the hype?
Oh, man. My friend Sammy and I went to rural Scotland before, and that one I think we were just blown away by. Like, we still sometimes talk about, like, how just emotionally expansive the place makes you feel just by virtue of how expansive it is geographically. It was just so gorgeous and stunning and beautiful, and we kept being like, oh my god, Shrek lives here. Like, it was really great. We loved it. It was so beautiful.
Where in the countryside did you go?
We went to the Isle of Skye, and so we did one of those classic little
I want
bus
to go
tours.
there.
Yeah, it's so great.
Did you guys get to see any of the, like, fairy circles they
We
talk
did.
about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It just looks like a different planet. Like, I can't believe that's the same planet. I feel that way also. I've never been to New Zealand before, but whenever I look at photographs of New Zealand, I'm like, that looks like the most beautiful place on the planet. Yeah.
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 Did you go to Scotland after the Fringe? Did you go to the Highlands?
We went separately.
Nice.
Did we do that? Oh, no. I think we did catch a day of the Fringe. And I had a couple friends who were there. And so we just went and said hi. But it wasn't like a trip for the Fringe. Yeah.
So, Karen, what has been your biggest fish out of water moment?
Okay, wait. I actually, when I read this question, I interpreted it kind of differently.
Okay, great.
So this is actually piggybacking on the answer I just gave about that trip to Scotland with my friend Sammy. Sammy is like one of my best friends from college, and we were roommates in college too. So he and I are very close. I feel like we're very different. I think everyone thinks we're the same. I think we're very different, but he's very calming and kind. And the reason this is important is that I was so sad the entire time we were in the UK because I had just broken up with someone the night before I flew there.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, oh, this is, it was somebody I'd been dating for like I can't remember, like 7 months. But in my mind, I was like, okay, I have to do the breakup now before, I go. Because otherwise I'm going to be there and having to be in touch with this person knowing the entire time I'm going to break up with them when I get back. Anyway, so I did it. And in my mind, I initially thought, oh, this is going to be so freeing. I'll be so elated to be abroad. And instead, I was just in a different country feeling so sad. And so when people are like, have you been to London? I always just am like, I have, but I really don't remember that much.
Oh my gosh.
But I have such a fondness for that trip because Sammy was so calm and loving. And there was one night where he was just like, he could tell I was just not doing well. And he was like, okay, do you want to just watch me play GeoGuessr? And I was like, yes. And then I would just sort of be like, no, man, I think that's Vietnam. And he'd be like, yeah, actually, it looks like Vietnam. And we would just do that for like an hour. It was so sweet. So it was definitely a trip that I really love, brought us together. But I don't think I could give you any advice on what to do in the UK.
No, that's great. I've done that. I've been on a trip post breakup.
Oh, man.
And yeah.
Did you like it? Dislike it?
It was a long trip. It was like months long.
Oh.
And it was in India. Uh-huh. So it was like there was a lot I didn't feel like I had broken up.
Right.
Because I was just overwhelmed the whole time until I got sick.
Ah.
And then I was sick for a week and coming out both ends, and that's when like the breakup hit me, and so I was crying the whole time too for like that week.
And like solely watching Friends and not seeing anyone.
I was watching the last season of Friends.
Oh, you were watching the show
one where
Friends.
They get married. Yeah.
Oh, that's devastating.
And my room overlooked like where all the people would hang out at the hotel. So I was just kind of up there watching Friends, crying, looking at people down in the courtyard.
That is so sad.
But it was, I remember it very well. Yeah.
I think that's a category of travel all its own, which is like breakup travel. And I think like travel is a great time to be going through a breakup because there is a lot of time to zone out, like to dwell and stare out the window. Mm-hmm. Like whether you're on like a plane or like just like wandering around a city, it's like really amazing processing time.
That's true. It also was such a nice visual reminder of just like, oh my gosh, there are so many people on this planet. I can be with anybody. I will say that
I could date them or
I
them
could date
or them.
any of these people and they would be so lucky to have me. I feel like, Garrett, were you the person who did the breaking up with, or did you get broken up with?
I got broken up with.
Okay, I think that is the way to do it before a trip. Because I had a weird thing of like, I felt very guilty having done the breaking up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then feeling sad about it. And then feeling like, I'm so lucky to be on this trip. So it was a bunch of all these emotions that just made me feel very guilty. Whereas I think if he had broken up with me, I'd be like, I'm angry and like out of spite, I'm going to have the best trip of my life. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. But
no, that's a fair point.
Yeah, I guess
fair point.
My advice is to get dumped.
Yeah, get dumped before a trip. Yeah. I think if you're going on a long trip, get dumped right before it. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Garrett planned it that way.
Yeah.
That's smart.
We actually kind of did, but yeah, that's okay. Karen, mm-hmm. If you could step into any moment from your travels, anytime you wished, which quintessential perfect moment would you pick? To just like drop into this moment anytime in your life and kind of live in it for a while.
You just looked so put upon as you heard that question.
Okay, I have two answers. One is when I was very young. We have family in Australia, and we went to visit them, and I guess I must have been 10 or so. And this was the only time we had ever been. We were so excited. My grandma went and everything, and we were at Universal, I want to say, in Australia. And I, for some reason, in a very out-of-character move, wanted to go on a roller coaster. And my mom, who is very scared of everything like myself, was like, absolutely not. But I was too small to go on by myself. And so my grandma volunteered to go on this roller coaster with me. So there's a photograph of the two of us, like, riding a roller coaster. But I don't remember the ride itself. And that, like, breaks my heart because I remember her being like, I'll go with you. And then everyone reacting like, oh, my God, how do we deal with this situation? And I remember afterwards, but I wish I could go back just to remember the thrill of being on a roller coaster with my sweet grandma.
But I mean, like, the before and after, that, like, that's the real, like, there are so many roller coasters, and they're fun, they're fine, they're fun.
Right.
But, like, yeah. Like, and I'm sure, like, going on it, like, it's, you know, so fast, like, maybe you wouldn't even know anybody's with you.
That's true. I must have had like an adrenaline blackout because I think that might be the only time in my life, especially at that point, that I had gone on a roller coaster. So I might have really, I just fully forgot about the whole experience. But I wonder in the moments where I'm like, did I hold her hand? Like, was she also screaming? Like, you know, stuff like that. Where I'm like, oh, I wish I could remember that more vividly.
Yeah, there's something so cool, too, about, like, grandparents doing stuff with you, especially like that, where you're like, oh, we're doing a naughty, like, young person thing together, and I'm too young, and you're too old, but we're doing it. It's like, yeah, my grandpa went with me on the Matterhorn in Disneyland, and I remember being really scared because there's a moment when the, like, abominable snowman is out, and he has, like, glowing red eyes and teeth, and my grandpa, like, I was like so scared, and he turned to me and he just like cracked a very grandpa joke, like he needs to shave or something like that, or like, or I look like him if I haven't shaved in a while, or something like, so, you know, he was really killing it. But it's just like, that's like, I think the most iconic ride I remember is like, grandparents rule.
That's so
That's
sweet.
all I'm trying to say.
They rule. I can't wait to be a grandparent someday.
Wait, but what was your other moment? Because you were between two, right?
Yeah. The other moment was on this Ireland trip. So Kira and I have been friends for 10 years. And it's so... There have been moments, especially this past year, where I'll be in the middle of a conversation with one of my friends, and I'll be like, oh, we know each other so well. Like, it'll really hit me how deeply connected we are. And I had this moment with her where we were kind of just like in our hotel. We weren't even doing anything special, but we were just talking. We had just watched Aisling B's show This Way Up. And we were kind of talking about that, and I remember we were just sitting, you know, like on the couch, and I just thought like, oh my God, we know and love each other so much and so well, and I felt so grateful. And it felt like such a blessing to get to be on a trip with her.
That's great.
That's so
like
beautiful.
Those moments of clarity, kind of like,
And then I imagine, you know, you don't really get very many of those people in your life, right? Just a handful where you're like, oh, yeah, we kind of, our souls just get each other. It's so nice. What about you?
Oh my, Karen.
Yeah.
Interviewing you.
The National Board of Tourism and Travel Organization doesn't care about us.
God, she's too good. She's turning the interrogation around.
I mean, are you trying to take our jobs? Are you trying to take our jobs from us?
I truly keep thinking we're just having like a conversation.
Karen, we're not friends. We're just interrogating you.
Right. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Meddling with the process.
I did say that as a cop-out, though, because I would genuinely have to think about it for a while.
I mean, I think the one that comes to mind right now is, I think I was in Darjeeling, and right when some politicians, they wanted to win one, and so it was a big dance party in the plaza with fireworks going off, and so I was just dancing with everybody in the plaza, and it was great.
That's so nice.
I think about that moment a lot, where it's just like a crowd of people dancing outside. It was really nice. It was really fun.
This isn't. Yeah. This was a perfect moment. It's probably not the one I'd pick, but it's a weird one that came to mind. I think inspired by like Garrett being sick in the hotel story. But I like my sister and I in like 2016. We no, not 2016, 2018. We like went to Peru and we hiked the Salcante Trail together, and on our way out, I like got sick and I was like throwing up at the airport and they like messed up our flight. So we had to stay at this like 5-star hotel. And it was kind of awesome because like my sister and I had been struggling to like, I think, get on the same page. Like sometimes when we spend a lot of time apart, our like wavelengths just aren't like hitting the same frequency. And so the whole trip, like we just had a couple moments of like rubbing each other the wrong way or something. And then so when I was like sick in the hotel, we just watched like I think Toddlers and Tiaras or something like super trashy.
Yeah.
And it's like what we always watched in like high school or whenever I was home from college, and it felt like we had like spent this whole trip trying to find each other and then found each other like kind of doing the like dumb trashy thing that we just love to do together.
Yeah.
So I think, and that was like, yeah. So I think that for me is like a pretty big travel highlight.
Oh, that sounds so nice. That sounds so wonderful. I also
feel
where
you're like, here's our rhythm, you know?
It's like finding like the lowest common denominator between two numbers. That's wonderful. Yeah. I love that so much.
And it was Toddlers and Tiaras.
Yes. That's great. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, all right. So, Karen, so this is kind of a tricky one, but is there a local custom you've observed while traveling that you've implemented or wish you'd implemented into your daily life? So, like, one that Garrett and I frequently talk about is we do Coffee and Kuchen, which is a German thing we picked up in Berlin where it's just like, you have coffee and cake in the afternoon.
Ooh.
And we love to do that. Like, it's kind of like during siesta hour is when you whip out the like sugar and caffeine treats.
Yeah.
That's so nice. I mean, okay. I guess the obvious one is that I'd love to do a long lunch. Like it seems every European country does. That would be great. But I remember, this is less of a trip, but in Boston, there's like a little community of cute old New Englanders who I think go swing dancing every week. And I was just like, that is the life for me. I want this. And they have like a little band of people who've been playing in that band for years and years. And like all the couples come out and they go swing dancing every week in the winter. And I was just like, dang, I want that.
Wait, can you go and swing dance there? Or is it truly like, is there an age limit?
I don't think there's an age limit. I think you can just go because I remember that band would get hired to do like formal events, you know, or like spring formals or things like that. And then they were like, oh yeah, what we normally do is this legendary like weekly swing event. Maybe part of a senior center? I don't even know, but I just thought like, dang, that sounds so nice.
That's awesome. I would love for like an elderly person to show me how to swing dance because it also feels like they would be so much more forgiving of like mistakes.
But I think swing dancing is a very forgiving dance form because I am so bad at dancing, and my friend Adam is a really good dancer and specifically a very good swing dancer. And in college and also after college, I would just be like, Adam, I really want to go swing dancing, and he'd be like, you got it, like I'm there, and would show up and we'd go dancing together. And I sort of just followed whatever he was doing, and it felt okay. I felt very good.
Do you still go, like, do you ever go now?
I haven't
Or
gone,
has it been a while?
Dang, it's been a while since COVID. Before COVID, for a while Adam was living in Boston and I was in New York, and this might have been after like a different breakup where I was very sad for a little bit, and I was just like, Adam, I would love to go swing dancing. Like, I wish you lived in New York. And he was like, when's the next event? I'm taking the train and I'll be there. And he did, and he like suited up. It was very cute. He like wore a tie.
Oh my gosh.
It was wonderful. I had such a good time.
Man, the lovely men in your life always coming, like the friends coming to pick you up after the breakup is like so charming and sweet.
Oh, friends are, gorgeous, beautiful, lovely.
They freaking rule.
They friggin' rule. And as does watching Friends, the show, Garrett.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
We hold space for all friends here.
Yes.
Yes.
It was, that season is now ingrained in my head. For just, it was a marathon on television that week.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, we have a lightning round.
Ooh, okay. I'm ready.
Go ahead and just the first answer that comes to your head, fire it off. Ready? Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Coffee or tea?
Ooh, coffee.
Hot or cold?
City or country?
Country.
Beer or wine?
Ooh, beer.
History or the scene?
History.
Clubs or cafes?
Cafes.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Fancy or casual?
Fancy.
Fast or slow?
Fast?
Dogs or cats or cows or monkeys?
Dogs.
Correct.
Yeah. But also, I love a cow.
Cows are great.
They're really great.
They are.
Just not quite as good as dogs.
Yeah, you don't really want one in your home.
No, that's true. Okay.
Garrett,
we're going to tabulate.
I
think I know what Rachel's doing.
I think I have to go first.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to take too long on mine, but here we go. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so the trip I'm proposing to you is 2 weeks in Mexico.
Okay.
You will be going with, I'm going to send you can either bring your mom and your aunt because you guys are a power trio, or you can bring some friends. But friends who are respectful of your kind of like ambivert, introvert tendencies. So the 3 places I'd like for you to go are, first, we're going to go to, let's say, Mexico City. I don't know if you've ever been, but it's incredible. There's so many amazing food places. There's one restaurant in particular that's top 10 in the world, and they'll do a tasting menu that's either corn or seafood, but it's incredible, and it's only $100, which for the top 10 restaurant, it's incredible. So also Mexico City's kind of like, it feels almost like Berlin. It's like this huge expansive city where everybody's biking around. There are tons of cafes to go to. It's truly gorgeous. So after that, you guys will go to Oaxaca. And Oaxaca is basically like, the Pixar movie Coco?
Yes.
Yeah, they use Oaxaca as the city model for that movie. So it's like very bright. There's like a ton of cool painted buildings, and a lot of the best chefs in the world come out of Oaxaca because they have like a huge cooking culture. So you'll definitely eat a lot of great food, and it's like a little more relaxed than Mexico City. It's a great place to just kind of like wander and vibe and eat great food. And then after that, I'd like to send you to the Yucatan Peninsula, and that's where you can get your in Mexico City, you can visit Frida Kahlo's house, but your history vibes are really gonna go off in the Yucatan Peninsula, where there's the giant pyramid called Chichen Itza, and it's like, I've been, and it's incredible. It's like you're walking around these like giant stone pyramids, and you'll get a super sweet tour guide to guide you around.
Wow. And we'll fall in love.
You'll fall in love, probably. Yes. But these are like huge grounds, and like they're so impressive because they're so old, and like there's one in particular where like every 100 years they built a new pyramid on top of it, and you can see like traces of like the paint that the pyramids were like completely covered in. It's like, it's one of those places that's almost infuriating because you're like, I want to have the answers and I want to know how they did all this, but all we have are the ruins. But it's so cool.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. So I think, and then if you're feeling like you want to just like relax and read your book at the end of this trip, you can go to Tulum, which is this beautiful like beach town with like very warm water, and you can just sit in a little hammock and vibe and then go home. So that's the trip I've put together for you, the Mexico trip.
I'm sold. This sounds incredible. Thank you so much. I love
You're
this
so
branch
welcome.
of the U.S. government. This is so good.
We're trying to get more federal spending in our branch. So thank you. Keep spread the word. Spread the word.
Yeah.
So I have one for you. I don't. That's it. I'm not quite there yet. I'm working on it still. But okay, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. So Karen, this one's might be a little out of left field, but I'm gonna send you on. Essentially, the main thrust of this trip will be a bakery tour of Copenhagen.
Whoa! Okay.
And Copenhagen is it has some amazing bakeries there. I guess Noma, the restaurant, kind of like, I don't know, it inspired, like he opened up a bakery and then a bunch of other places opened up bakeries. Honestly, I still dream about this baked good that I had at, I think, Heart Bakery or what was the name of the place? There's a whole list of bakeries that I'm going to send you to. I think it might be Myers Bakery. And they only had it on Wednesdays. It was like a perfect caramelized like little swirl. And then you're going to stay in Freetown, Christiania, which is, have you been to Copenhagen?
I have not, no.
Okay, good. Freetown, Christiania is like a little commune in the center of the city. So you'll stay in like a house by a lake with horses going by. So it's technically, it is and it isn't a part of Copenhagen. They declared themselves not a part of Denmark, but it's a very great spot to be. It's beautiful. It's like, it is like a little forested, wooded lake like district in the middle of the city.
Wow.
So you'll stay in a house on the lake there. And I'm going to send you in November. So it'll be cold and dark. But
What?
the point of that... Yeah. Right? So the point of that is that you'll get to see the Hygge side of Copenhagen.
Oh, yes.
Are you familiar with this?
Yes.
Hygge. So it's a Danish idea of like warm and cozy. And so you'll get to go to the Tivoli Gardens, which is kind of like a festival of lights. It's a amusement park that was built in the 1840s. And it still kind of has like this old, bless you. It still kind of has this old charm to it. It's very beautiful. It's got great food there as well. But yeah, the main thing is going to be a bakery tour. Wow.
Rachel is allergic to your proposition.
I know. Well, Rach, I never interrupted yours. Pujol doesn't do the 2 tasting menus anymore.
Well, now I've completely forgotten everything
okay.
Garrett said, and I'm only thinking about Mexico. These both sound like incredible trips, and I would love to go on either one of them, or both.
Well, so we have to report back to our boss.
Oh, no. Joe Biden?
And he's meaner than you think.
Directly to,
Oh, no.
wow,
He seems
yeah, if we
so
reported
nice.
directly to Joe Biden, that would be...
Who is your boss?
He's just a higher up at the, yeah. higher up at the agency.
Mr. Chocolate Cake.
These all sound like some suspect names.
Mr. Chocolate Cake.
No, he's real.
Because he's no longer secret agent Chocolate Cake. He used to be secret agent Chocolate Cake. And now he's Mr. Chocolate Cake.
He's leveled down.
Promoted. If he's promoted, he'll be Sergeant Chocolate Cake. And then
Chocolate Cake.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, good for him. I hope that happens.
Yeah, I know. I hope so,
He
too.
works really hard. He
does. He does. He's a good boss. But yeah, we have to report to him like our numbers on who pitches the best trip each episode.
Oh man.
And so like for the season, I think right now I'm in the lead.
So you have to decide.
I shouldn't have said that.
You have to decide just like who you want your enemy to be.
Yeah.
Do you want an enemy in the National Tourism and Travel Office?
I would love one. I would love a nemesis in the government. That would be so fun. My life would be more exciting. Okay, I am genuinely thinking of these two trips. They're both so great. I love the idea of a bakery tour. I love the idea of everything Rachel said in Mexico. Okay, I'm going to go with the Mexico trip, and here's why. First off, I was really into the Copenhagen thing until you mentioned that's going to be dark and cold the whole time.
Dark and cold, yeah, okay. To me, that sounds great. It's like Hoogly time. It's like Hoogly time things.
Karen said she's an early bird. Early birds can't wake up if it's dark out.
I love the cold. I love going on a trip where it's very cold, but I don't want it to be dark all the time. And I would love to go to like a dark place if they had incredible stargazing or like the northern lights. And then I loved everything about the Mexico trip, and I guess I also just really love Rachel as a person. And would bring her on this trip to Mexico.
I would go. Go.
So you can report that to your boss.
Yeah, I forgot to say, if you went to Copenhagen, you'd have to be with me. You'd have to go with me.
That would be fun, though. I would love that. Oh, man. This actually genuinely does make me wish I could visit both countries.
Add them to your list.
You can.
I gotta.
You really can. Cool.
Okay, well, this was great. This was very good. I see where my error. And this was learning. This was a learning experience for me, which was
dark
nice.
And cold in a commune that is not really part of the country. After I told you I love order.
Order.
As soon as you said commune, I thought, I'm not going to be thriving there.
I'm rusty. This is our first one back.
No. It was a perfect trip.
And I took a bit.
It's a perfect trip. It's a perfect trip.
You keep dropping things that I said that ruined it.
In retrospect, though,
there's like a new thing every time.
In retrospect, it is very funny because Copenhagen as a city is very orderly and is one of like the most pedestrian-friendly cities. But Garrett didn't talk about any of that.
No.
I will also say, in the beginning, when he said a bakery tour of Copenhagen, I thought, dang, that's the clear winner. And then he just added in too many personal details that I don't care for.
I should have won. You know what? I think this one. I think we'll call it a tie.
No,
I
you
think there's
very
a clear
clearly
winner.
It was yours to lose and you lost it.
Yeah, I actually think I'm racist against all Danes now because of you.
Oh wow! What have I done?
Pretty bad.
Karen's like,
sorry, Danes.
To coworkers tomorrow, like, yeah, I guess I hear they're just like a mess over there.
All right. Well, this has been a delight.
You look so broken. This has been a delight for me. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much,
for joining
Karen.
us. Thank you for joining us. And that was Karen Chee.
Lover.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said in the beginning, re-listening to it, it just really is like, I don't know. When I left the interview last, a year ago, I was like, man, okay, I gotta just embody Karen more in my life.
Yeah, I think about her often. She also has this like wonderful written piece. I should look up the title and put it in the show notes or something.
That's a good idea.
She wrote about her morning egg.
Yeah.
Maybe just the idea that like every day Karen makes a morning egg and she gets really excited for her morning egg.
That's me with coffee.
Okay. Don't try to be Karen.
No, I was Karen before Karen's egg.
Wow.
I'm just lashing out because I lost.
Yeah, big time. It was yours to lose and you lost it.
I know. I really thought other people would love the cold and dark like I do.
I think other people do, just not Karen.
Yeah.
Because she mentioned that.
But yeah, I know. But like very few people do.
I don't think, well, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a regular thing to hear people talking about how cold and dark it was. It was great.
For cave people.
For cave people.
In The Descent.
How was your
down
cave?
there.
Cold and dark. It was great. Everything you want from a cave.
It's perfect.
That
Okay,
dripping
let's
water.
wrap this
Okay.
up.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.